It's December 12th, and welcome to today's Advent devotion. Today's theme is silence, from Luke 1, 5 through 25. Today we learn God is not silent, but we have to be silent sometimes in order to hear Him. Silence can be a powerful communication tool. Whether it's a powerful musical rest for a few beats at the end of a crescendo, or that moment a speaker holds their breath before finishing a thought. Silence creates an anticipation for what's coming. We call it a pregnant pause. A pregnant pause is a silence in which everyone is waiting and listening for an uncertain word. The story of Christmas begins after 400 years of silence. It had been 400 years since the last prophet of the Old Testament prophesied of the coming of the Messiah and his forerunner. Israel was waiting for that next word. The last two verses of the Old Testament are found in Malachi 4, 5 through 6. Behold, I will send you Elijah, the prophet, before the great and awesome day of the Lord comes. And he will turn the hearts of fathers to their children, and the hearts of children to their fathers, lest I come and strike the land with a decree of utter destruction. The Christmas story begins with the fulfillment of this prophecy after a long 400-year pregnant pause. The priest Zechariah and his wife Elizabeth were beyond the years of having children, and they were barren, which means there was no natural way that they would ever have a child of their own. But one day, Zechariah had a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to be the one to offer incense at the temple. At this time, everyone outside would pray because incense is symbolic of prayer. As Zechariah offered incense on the altar of incense before the Holy of Holies, maybe he reflected on all the times he prayed for a child and yet God seemed to remain silent. Just then, the angel Gabriel appeared. He had a word that would resolve God's long pause in the salvation story. And we see this in Luke 1, 13 through 17. But the angel said to him, "Do not be afraid, Zechariah, for your prayer has been heard, and your wife Elizabeth will bear you a son, and you shall call his name John. And you will have joy and gladness, and many will rejoice at his birth, for he will be great before the Lord. And he must not drink wine or strong drink, and he will be filled with the Holy Spirit, even from his mother's womb. And he will turn many of the children of Israel to the Lord their God, and he will go before him in the spirit and power of Elijah to turn the hearts of the fathers to the children, and the disobedient to the wisdom of the just, to make ready for the Lord a people prepared." Zechariah wouldn't allow his heart to believe these hopeful words that broke God's long silence. And as a result, Gabriel said to Zechariah in verse 20, "You will be silent and unable to speak until the day that these things take place, because you did not believe my words, which will be fulfilled in their time." We should never question a promise God makes us. When he speaks it, it's as good as done. God silenced Zechariah so he would stop questioning and have plenty of time to rest in God's promise. God is not silent today. He has given us his word and many great and precious promises. When your prayers seem unanswered and you're tempted to question God's faithfulness, take some time to be silent. This Christmas, take time to read, listen, trust, and experience the peace that comes from his promise fulfilled in the greatest gift of all, the promised one, Jesus, the Messiah, the final answer to all our prayers. With each one of these devotions, we're going to provide for you devotional thoughts and questions for you to do individually, as well as group discussions, so that you can do those with your family or with a small group or with your spouse or a friend. And then after that, there will be some family ideas that you can do for family devotions each day as we experience Advent together.